Now, last month there were 1 million vacancies. Wages are surging, but so are prices, and some employers are struggling to find and retain staff. Today we heard that in the 3 months to June, whilst average pay was up 7.4%, the number of vacancies for jobs in July was over 1 million. The shortages for workers include pubs, bars and restaurants, which have been particularly acute. So what's the situation and how are recruiters getting on with filling the posts? Let's speak to Kate McCarthy-Booth, founder of the McCarthy Recruitment Agency, based in Manchester, and with us this afternoon. Afternoon to you, Kate. It's good to talk to you. Let's talk about these figures. What do you make of them? Are they an accurate portrayal of what the scene is like at the moment?
Absolutely. It's really interesting at the moment. I've been in recruitment about 24 years. I'm showing my age there, but I've not seen vacancies like this since kind of, I suppose, retail and hospitality were in a growth, which is, 15 years plus. Really, it's almost like the worst perfect storm coming together. The pandemic mixed with Brexit, mixed with skill shortages in general, and also a candidate market where people are really wary about changing jobs. It's just created the situation where there's lots of vacancies and there's a real lack of talent on the market.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I've got a friend that runs a restaurant, and post-COVID he was due to open, couldn't find enough staff, took him another 3 weeks before he was actually able to open his doors. And I suppose that's the reflection of the situation, isn't it? That if you've not got the staff, you can't offer a full service.
You can't. I mean, I've been talking to a number of businesses where, they've got tables empty, but they can't offer them, or they're closing earlier in the week, and this is peak season for a lot of holiday resorts, but they can't open because they haven't got the staff. And actually, hospitality as a sector has already suffered hugely. And this is causing chaos. It's not easy to find people. I'm talking to a lot of businesses at the minute and trying to actually provide them advice on how to stand out and be different. But this time last year, people were putting an advert out for a chef and getting over 1,000 applications. They're not getting any applications this year. People aren't applying, and it's a new world as well, and it's a different way of approaching your vacancies as an employer, and you have to do things differently.
How are they going to fill the roles then? Is this just a short-term thing, or is it going to be long-term until we train up the professions that you're talking about?
I think it's a complex answer that I don't think for some roles, yes. I think really, we're talking a number of years ago about apprenticeships not being in the right place for hospitality and for many other sectors, construction, all sorts of sectors. And I think that's a longer term issue. I think as the market creates some stability and the economy creates stability, and I suppose people can see hopefully that the pandemic, we're not going to go into another lockdown, but I can't say that, nor can anybody. You hope there's more stability, and therefore you create candidate movement. The same with the end of furlough. It kind of creates people actually starting to think, actually, I might move jobs, because what we've got at the moment is as well, candidates aren't applying because they might even be unhappy, but they're thinking, I'll just stay where I am because it feels a bit safer. So it's difficult.
I mean, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? Because we could flip this on its head. I know you've talked about talking to employers about what they can do potentially to stand out. From an employee's point of view, would you hold out if you're looking for a job at the moment?
No, I mean, I think if you've got a lot of skills to offer and you want to go and work, I'd be looking at what you actually want. And I think that's happened a lot as well, Phil. I think a lot of people have reflected on what they want in life during the pandemic. Some people have thought, I don't want to go back to that job. I want to be able to pick my kids up from school. I want flexibility. I want work-life balance. So that, and people have seen people move sectors and get a different life in some respect, and more pay. So people have held out for that. So I wouldn't sit back and say, no, I won't go for a job. If the right job comes up with the right employer that gives you what you want as an individual, and I don't think that should just be salary related as well, because I think when candidates purely just move for a salary increase, although it can be a driver, you need to consider the whole picture of what that job's going to give you, whether it gives you career progression, why are you changing jobs. But it's a great time to get a new job as well. There's some brilliant jobs out there on the market. So if you're a good candidate and you want to go out there and look for something new, it's definitely a time to do it.
And I was at a Makers Market on Sunday, spoke to quite a few people who've said, I've given up the rat race. I'm doing what I'm doing. Yeah. I enjoy it. Yeah. I'm earning as much as I want to, and I've left that behind. So as you say, there's a lot of people who are no longer part of that.
It has. It's really changed things. I think people have learnt to live off less money, to spend the money differently. We look at the amount of tourism in the UK has changed this year. We've remembered how great a British holiday is as well. And I think it's not necessarily cheaper, because I've talked to a lot of friends that have paid an awful lot of money to go on holiday within the UK, but I just think it's changed our perspective on things. And I've talked to a lot of candidates that are saying actually and that's why I talk about the employee brand proposition from a client perspective, from an employer perspective, because candidates are looking to be valued now. They are looking for not the really bad shift pattern, and they'll do their fair share of that, but it's about getting some sort of balance. And I think we spent more time with our families, and a lot of people kind of gone, we live one life. What is it that I want? It's a complicated situation, and it is almost like lots of things. Brexit, the EU, a lot of EU workers went back, but to be at home during the pandemic, which I totally understand. But actually, it's really difficult to come back to the UK to work. It's not simple anymore, and we've lost a lot of skills due to that as well.
It's fascinating times, isn't it? Kate McCarthy Booth